Everybody. Let me see. Okay, don't see. Let me get out of this. I want to open the chat so I can see what is happening. Okay, is this working? Okay. It's so weird to do this in two different technology. That's all I can say. Not seeing anything yet. Why does that look different? I might have to. Hey. Oh, so who have we got here? All ready to start? Shannon, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I'm excited for this too. Um, MK, you did not miss it. We are just now starting. Peter, I don't know if that's right. Mountain time is 8 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern is 8 p.m. Mountain time because I'm 2 hours behind you. Uh, okay. Great. Looking forward to it. Mrs. Quilter, watching from Surrey, BC, Canada. Thank you for being here. Hi, Sheila. Hey, Joe. Hi, Jody from Texas. Oh, you're also watching for Splashdown, Sheila? Yeah, today's the day. I forgot about that. Joe is also in Canada. Thanks for popping in. Let me. I hope you're all doing well. Um, yeah, MKD, you're not missing it. You are just fine. I'm going to switch my screen here. Okay, why doesn't this show up on this screen? You know, it's always something. Let's see. 1 second here. I'm sorry. I don't know why this isn't showing me the chat on this one. What's that? Suggestion. Ugh. Well, you know, if it takes too long to figure it out, then I'm just not going to be able to look at that. What? What is going on? I can see the chat in one place, but I can't see it in the other. So I guess as long as I can see it in one place, that's fine. Hi, Gretchen. Hey, Trish. A Bama quilter. Hi, Jan. Vicky, nice to see you. You're headachy. That's a bummer. Hi, Denise. Okay. All right. Let's get going. I had ordered this really cool plexiglass thing because I wanted to demonstrate on top of my quilt and like just draw it on and then, you know, wipe it back off. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I've got the plexiglass. It's not here. It was supposed to be here today and it is not here yet. So, little disappointed in that. However, I do have my little I'm using this like report cover to draw on, and then I can use like an expo marker and then erase it. If you had like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that had a picture or something of your quilt or your block, you can always stick that paper in here and draw on top of it. So let me switch my screens. I hope you guys got your quilts. I think, Sheila, you said you got your quilt top done. Um, oh, you're finished piecing your top. Cool. Hi, Debbie from Augusta. Well, okay. I am just so bummed at this whole, why it's not showing up in both places. Hey, Rhonda. Ooh, from sunny Florida. Oh my gosh. And we've got Carrie Ann from Australia, thank you so much for being here. That means a lot to me. I love doing these lives. It's really fun, even though I'm just looking at the screen and talking. I could talk forever about quilting. So I'm gonna get out of that. Uh, Screw it. It just really bums me out that that is not showing, but I will just make do by scooting this over and scooting this over. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that works totally fine. Okay. I have here my quilt top is finished, and I wanted to also mention that I did do the scrappy border, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I think it looks pretty cool with I just cut some 2.5 inch, well, they were the jelly rolls, so I sewed them together in strips, and then I cut 3.5 inch pieces to get the scrappy border. I'm horrible with math, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough, and every time I tried to calculate it, I came up with a different number, which is not unusual for me. Okay, so my other quilt is on the wall, but what I have here is this little report cover. And on my other quilt, I did some ribbon candy on the in these strips. And I did, let me look here. Now I gotta, oh, in the fabric B squares, I did ribbon candy. And in the fabric A spots, I did stippling. So let me scoot this way. And then I did a star or a little flower design in the big square that I had just marked an X, and then I used rulers to make a flower, I should say, inside of the big squares. And then on the whole outside border, the inner border, I did ribbon candy, and then on the outer, I did straight lines, like matchstick quilting. Okay, so let me just show you really quickly. If you're not familiar with ribbon candy, no, that's a bit of a glare. One second. Let me see if I turn off this overhead light. If that looks too, I think it's a little bit better. I'll probably turn it back on in a minute. But just move this up and this. So let's pretend like we're using lined paper. And when we're doing ribbon candy, it's usually in between two seams. Not always, because you can do ribbon candy inside of odd shapes too and just make it bigger or larger to fit. But if you want to do ribbon candy in your strips, you're going to think of the letter S. I'm going to make a backwards S because I'm coming from the right. Like that. And then you're going to come up and make an S that connects to it going in the opposite direction. So it's always either a frontwards S and a backwards S that are touching each other. So we have a backwards S, frontwards S, backward, front, and that is how you would make your ribbon candy. And I did provide a worksheet at the end of the quilt pattern so you can practice making ribbon candy if that's something that you want to use in your quilt. But ribbon candy is kind of my go-to for strips. If the strips are close enough together, if they're like 2.5 inches, I will use ribbon candy. and I will fill that in with ribbon candy. Another choice for your border strips is you can, oh, I should have prefaced this by saying, if you are doing a, if you want to do a custom quilting, then you can use these different techniques. You can, if you want to get your quilt done quickly, I would just suggest an edge to edge design over the whole thing. For me, my go-to edge to edge design is spirals. Love them. A lot of my quilts have spirals. I don't know. They're my favorite. You can use, if you're just starting out with free motion quilting and you want to do edge to edge, but you're not sure, just do some stippling, just a meander all over, borders everywhere. Just do stippling, and that will help you get through your quilt a lot faster. You can also do a combination of custom and all over design. For instance, if you want to do, let's say your inner and outer borders, if you want to put something there, like maybe you want to do the ribbon candy or the wishbones inside the inner border, and then on the outer border, make lines or stippling or something else. And then on the whole inside of the quilt, then you have your edge to edge design. So you can really mix and match to get the custom quilting look that you're going for. So back here, so I did the ribbon candy for, like I say, the fabric bee, which was my background. And then I did stippling on all of the other colors that were the gold colors in the black and gold quilt. And for the stippling, again, it's just thinking about that letter S, but we're going to be connecting an S onto that when we stop. We're going to say, oh, let's go and make an S over in this direction. And then now you want to make another S in another direction. So you would just keep on making those S shapes. And sometimes you'll have to kind of make an exaggerated line to get back to fill in some of the awkward spaces. But it's basically just an S. You can think of it as a puzzle piece. Some people think they look kind of like dog bones, but it's up to you if that's what you're thinking about. I think I'm going to turn that other light back on. I feel like it's a little too dark. Can't have enough lights. Oh, and I even had another light I was, oh well, going to put on. Okay, so let's talk about this middle square. What on earth do you want to put there? And I was just kind of doodling and thinking when I first basted this quilt, I thought automatically I'm doing an edge to edge. I'm not going to do any custom quilting on it. But I think I'll just kind of change my mind like I always do. But when we're talking about the inner square, what I like to do is if you have a air or water soluble pen, I like to kind of draw a guideline in here, and I just make an X, just so I have that center point, because I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but whatever I do, I want to make sure it's even all the way around. So I just give myself a guideline, and it's okay to draw straight on your quilt top with the water or air soluble pens. If you're not sure if it's going to come out, just test it on another piece of fabric and then spritz it with some water and make sure that it comes out it should come out with water. Thanks, Joe. Loves the border. Hi, Linda. Let's see, Deb, Pug Mama Quilter. You made it. Is it Tully? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hello from Michigan. Okay, so let me show you what I did on my original quilt. I did use rulers. I was going to try to not use rulers on this, but I made myself a guide. I took my ruler. Let me just, oh, I don't have to bring it out. And I just traced like a slight arc. And then I went and I did one in the middle and then another one at the edge. So then I just went another arc in the middle. And then when I got to the next line, I did another going into the corner. And then I didn't mark, when I did the original, I did not mark the outer edges. I just had the X. If you want to measure the sides, which is 6 inches, and just make a mark at the 3-inch all the way across to make sure you're getting yours directly in the middle, you can do that. It's not cheating if you have to mark on your quilt. So again, I made another one going into the middle and corner. Ooh, that already looks uneven. At any rate, that's what I did on the original. It kind of looks like a pot leaf now that I'm looking at it. And where is my eraser? I think I put my eraser on top of it's in the cabinet that has my laptop sitting on top of it. So I'm just going to get some scrap here and erase. So that's an option that you can use in the middle square. It's not rubbing off as no, it does. I can still kind of see it. Another thing you can do is if you want to do ruler work and you've made that, that line, you can always make some echo lines off of the X that you originally start with. So you would make this X and then do some echo lines right up next to those previous lines. And if you're using a ruler, you can either use your quilting foot as a guide, or you can use your ruler and make larger spaces in between your lines. This one looks really cool to me, but I don't know that I want to do that much ruler work on this one. But I think that would be a really cool design. Let's see. Can't read this. Hi, Irish. Okay. So another thing that you can do if you want to do rulers, you could just do like a 3-point line. Imagine just making a imaginary spot here in the middle of your triangle, starting from one side, going up to that dot, coming down to the other side in the corner. And from that corner, you're going to come up, meet just below where that dot is, and then come back to this corner. I'm not doing a very good job with drawing. And then again, a third one, which will take you to this other side so that you're ready to start filling in those lines on your next empty triangle. Also, okay, I might have to tear this batting and might have to use the spray remover type thing, the Expo marker remover stuff. Another thing that you can do is if you're feeling fancy and if you're comfortable with feathers, you can make a feather. You can make a large feather from your center point, and you can make feathers all the way around. It's kind of a large petal. I don't know that I would. Uh, It'll look good. You could do that. But if you want it to be a little smaller, what you could do is just echo the inside of this square. So just do maybe a quarter inch from the seam line all the way around, or a half inch. And then you've got a smaller area to make your feather, and then your feather plumes won't be as large. You can even not go all the way to the edge so that you can come back through and echo around your feather plumes. I know that's kind of a crazy looking one, but then you can echo, and then that would help take up some of that space in that large square to where you don't have to do a feather plumes all the way to the seam line. Sometimes it looks best if you give yourself a little bit of space. If you're doing some kind of motif, it looks nice if you have a little bit of a border edge around it to kind of just break it up from the rest of your piece. Any questions? Irish says she loves the plastic plexiglass idea. Yeah, I found some on Amazon and they were, well, they come in all different sizes, but I ordered the 12-inch because 12 inch is usually the size of the blocks that I make. And um, I thought that was pretty universal. So that's what I did. If you have any other ideas that you are thinking of, if you have an edge to edge design that you like, that's like kind of your go-to, what are you thinking when you want to do something quickly? What design do you use? Here in these outer strips, I was thinking before the Zoom that maybe I should do, let me scoop some of this paper out of the way. I also did one that had like just echoing straight lines inside your square, that 6.5-inch square, and just doing box after box after box. Or again, here's making those arcs, but then putting something in the middle to kind of help break up that space so it's not so open. So I was thinking initially it might be fun to do some feathers in these two outer ones. Um, that was my initial thought, but let me show you. Okay, so if I'm feathering, and then maybe echo to come back down. And then in this square, I was thinking, or this strip, I was thinking of some serpentine lines, something kind of simple that might be kind of fun. And again, this is another play on that S shape. When you're doing the serpentine line, when you make that S, you kind of travel back a little bit to touch the S that was right before it or ahead of it. So you always want to travel either back towards the S or out in front of it. So I thought that might be kind of cool if I was looking to do some kind of quilting, custom quilting, which I'm sure still not having made up my mind. I don't know if I want to spend that much time on it. But that is, oh, splashdown complete. Thanks for the update that they got back safe and sound. Trish asks, what fiber and weight thread do you prefer? I like 40 weight. It's kind of my go-to. Plus, a lot of times when you go to the quilt store, that's what they have the most of at the quilt shop, it seems, is to be like that 40 weight or 50, but I like a thicker thread, so I tend to stick around 40. I also put 40 in my bobbin. I have had no issues with, sometimes I put 50 in the bobbin. It just depends on what I want to get rid of and how much thread I have of whatever color. And then that's what I use in my bobbin. It doesn't always have to match. So that is one idea. If you want to quilt, do a lot of quilting on your piece. These lines, these strips are also close enough together that you could do some straight lines, straight-ish lines, without having to use a ruler. You're just kind of eyeballing where you are. So you could do and just kind of round it at the tops and bottoms. It doesn't have to be directly square in the seam, straight in the seam. If you're doing a lot of lines, you can just make them more curved. So that's an option if you're looking for custom and you're a little bit timid on trying something a little too complicated. Straight lines are always good. And again, if you want to, I personally would match whatever I did in fabric A all around. I wouldn't do like one design here and then design 2 and then design 3 in this 3 rail fence block here. I think it looks better if you have all of your same fabrics that are the same color, have the same design. Or not this, well, if you did it 2 colors, to have them be the same design. And then in the center, if you want to do, I keep thinking of a feather, but I don't want to have to draw a line and then feather out. You can always just do your stippling again. And so everywhere you would come to that had the color strips, your fabric A, then you could just do, stippling and all of those. That's what I did for my quilt. I'm thinking though, what I might do, just because I want to get mine done sooner, I think I'm going to do swirls, big surprise, around all of the blocks, and then do something in here that is a straight line. So I'm going to probably bust out those rulers. And I do like the, not sure which one. If I like the 3 or if I want to do, maybe I'll just do straight lines, but I won't do them at 1/4 inch. That's a little smaller than what I think I want, so I might make those a little bit bigger. And this is going to help me get around my quilt faster if I just do the swirls. And then when I get to, oh, I forgot about the, forgot about the sashing. Because I think, like I say, I don't know. I have this thing where I feel like in my mind I can't, I have to do something different in my sashing strips. Why? I feel like when I'm doing an edge to edge design and I'm going over my sashing strips, I kind of feel like I'm doing something wrong, that needs to have some sort of a design in there. And so that's what I'm thinking now, because I totally forgot about the sashing strips on the inside. Irish asks what stitch length. I on my sit down machine here, I do not use stitch regulation. I use manual mode, so I'm controlling the length of my stitches. Also, when I use my regular domestic sewing machine, I control the stitch length there too, because the feed dogs are down and I control the length of the stitches. So now that I said that, I just am debating, do I want to have the sashing strip? What if I did sashing and then I did swirls? I feel like I got to do something different in this square block. Sorry, I didn't have this all figured out in my head when I started. I kind of did, but then it'll still work. I could still take, it's kind of hard to see and I can't zoom in and out on this webcam, but I can still do this entire block because we have 9 big 18-inch blocks. I can do this entire block in swirls. That will make me happy. I can do the straight lines in the 6.5 6-inch square. And then when I get to the sashing strip, I will do ribbon candy, and I will do the same with the inside border because it's the same fabric. I will also use the ribbon candy there. Or should I do wishbones? I haven't done wishbones in a while. Do you guys, yeah, so if I were to do, I'm going to put a piece of paper in here so it's easier to see. Put this in. But if you want to do wishbones, they're really good for border spaces also, sashing and borders. And it's basically the same as ribbon candy, except for you're not making an S, you're making a straight line. So you're just making a straight line, a little loop down there, then another straight line and a loop. So you're making a zigzag basically with little loops at the top and the bottom. I might do the wishbones because I think that's going to go a little quicker. So let's just start. I'm going to reposition my camera so it's pointing down at my needle. And I am going to get started. So bear with me a second. Oh, I do need more light here. Fold this out some, give me some, let me see here. I'm going to, I've got this space over here on the edge. When I had my machine on the other wall before I got my long arm, I had a card table on one side and I have an extension table for my sit down machine on the other side that's built in. Once I got the long arm and I had to put it on this side of the room, I had to make room also for my sewing desk. And I did not have enough room in here to put a table. I am on the lookout for something that is like super thin. It would have to be like a 10-inch or something kind of table, or I don't know. Because over here on this side, my quilt does fall down, which sucks. So when I'm doing a large quilt, I have to keep it kind of folded up on my table, and then I work in a smaller area at a time so that I can keep this kind of bunched up and out of the way. So move this. Mrs. Quilter asks, how did you secure the top batting and backing so they don't shift? I used spray based. Um, oops, wrong camera. I have, let me see here. I have a couple different spray basting brands that I like. One of them is the 505, and the other one I use is Spray and Bond that I just get at Walmart. And I did do a video on different types of spray based on my YouTube if you want to check that out. But let me just show you. I also have another video that I haven't edited yet because I've gotten a lot of requests on how I baste my quilts. And I use pool noodles to baste, to roll up all my layers, and then I spray baste and I'm done super fast. And I will likely get that posted this weekend. I just need to edit it. But Mrs. Quilty, so I don't know if you could see here that well. See if I go down a little bit. These layers are kind of like sticky together. The spray based is a temporary bond adhesive that washes out. So when you wash your quilt, all of the residue from the base, the spray will be gone. So I spray based these together, batting to backing, and then I spray based my quilt top onto it. And it sticks, no problem. I've basted quilts that I've basted and just put in the closet for, I can't tell you how long, and they're fine. They still are stuck together. Oops. And they are not coming apart. It works really, really well. And so that's what I do. Trish said she loves 505. Yeah, it's kind of pricey though. That's the only bummer about it. Oh yeah, Deb, were you here the last time? I think you told me about Elmer's spray based, or maybe you put that on one of my, somebody told me about that. Maybe it was you commented on it. I can't remember. Hi Karen. Oh, Karen's my new quilty friend here in Colorado. Just joining, needed to finish this sourdough stretch and folds. Good to see you too, Karen. Glad you're here. Karen's just learning free motion, and she's doing amazing right out the gate. You should see her loops. They were very good. Okay, gonna switch camera. Maybe I can get this down. I think it's down as far as it's gonna go. I may. Okay. My quilt is just all bunched up here. And you can see, maybe not, can't see at that angle, but I bunch all the quilt up and I quilt in sections. I'm going to unroll this because I feel like sometimes when you roll it, it's like even heavier and or folded, and mine is all folded on top of each other and I feel like it's kind of heavy. So I'm just going to unfold this some and I'll just let it bunch up there. I like to work in sections, and I'll say in my mind, okay, I'll work on a, oops, which camera am I trying to get? I don't even know what I'm trying to do. Okay. I will say that I'll work first, like say in these squares, and then I'll work up to this 3-piece. And since I'm going to be making something different in the center, I'm going to go ahead and stitch some swirls all the way around this 6.5-inch block. So let me turn this light down a skosh and see if that helps. Is the back one? Might be a little bit. It's still kind of glary, but I was just, oh, you know what? I was thinking, I don't even know if I want to do off-white for this. I kind of wanted to do a light pastel-y color. Let me give a look in my thread stash and see if I can find something that looks kind of light. Oh, that's too thick. Either green. Still do a lot of green. Oh, it's too light. I don't have any peach. Hold on. 1 second. I have this kind of pastel green. I don't know. I think it might be a little too dark. I wanted something that's going to be 1 second. Gotta go to the thread stash. Don't know if that's going to work. I've got this kind of pale pink, but the color in my quilt is more of a coral. You know what? I'll just use the off-white. I'm going to use this one. It's a Madeira, and it is, I'm sure, 40 weight. Can't see yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but 40 weight there. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to just rethread my machine because I have bright white in here. Well, you know what? I'll just leave it. The white is fine. This is a little bit more of an ecru, so it might be kind of a little too dark. So I'll just leave the white, all of that, and then I'm using this what's actually already in the machine. Let's throw those down. Hi, Linda from Pittsburgh. Thanks for being here. Now you got to find something to sew. Hi, Dawn. Your Bernina dealer instructed you to use 505 basting spray. It is really good. It doesn't gum up your needle or anything, so it's a good brand. I like it. Green ties in with several. I just feel like the green that I have is a little, I just wanted like a barely there color, and I don't have that. So that's why I think I'll just stick with the white. Yeah, I should have, because I want like a peachy color that's more, oops, that's more like, it's like I don't know which way to go here. Like this shade. That's what I'd want. Is something that's more coral, light, peachy. That was my thought, but oh well. This'll do. Ah, this is so bunchy. Okay. Just throw this up. That. And thread. And I'm going to bring my bobbin thread up to the top. Too many things stepping on here. Just give it a couple, lock that in place. I wonder if I should bring this, got this light, but I don't know that it's, see, maybe that's a little better. The stand that I ordered from Amazon would have hooked to the front of my table so that you're seeing straight on. And I had a plan. Stupid Amazon, not getting me my stuff on time. Kind of want that down there, that down there. Scoot this up. Okay, so I can read these. Linda says she has to finish her borders. Need inspiration for how to quilt. And I got a lot of beginner-friendly designs on my channel. Linda says she hasn't had any problems with the 505. Or is that what you're saying, Linda? Yeah, doesn't gum up the needles. It's nice. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start with my swirls. What the? I want them that small. See, this is where that other color would have come in handy and you guys could have seen the design further. I just don't think there's a way for me to zoom in on this. Let me see. Let me check. Webcam. Nope, not that. Let me just see if there's a way to zoom in just a little bit on this software so that you can see a little bit better. Um, I don't think that'll work. It says to drag the edges closer, but that's not gonna do it. Almost positive. That just makes it further away. Silly. Add a crop. I don't know if that, let me try that. Alt. Oh. Alt. Nope. Let me scoot this back. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to go. Linda says it seems like 505 was one of the first on the market. You've always used it. Doesn't gum up the needle. Yep. Not like that June Taylor. That's got issues. And it's the cheapest one. Try to make these a little bit better. you're working in swirls, the thing to remember is when you start a new swirl, it looks best if you can start it in between two of the swirls that were beneath it. So in between two, and then start the next one. This is going to be, uh-oh, darn it, I skipped. Shoot. Getting a little bit of drag on here. What's in the way? What's that? That's me. Okay. Oh my gosh, that keeps happening. I keep stopping and it's taking that extra stitch because I move it. Does not look great on the back side. I need more tension. It's kind of railroad tracky on the back. You don't want that. Look up here and see how it looks. Close to my 6.5-inch square, but I don't want to go. Well, some of it looks good and some of it looks better. Maybe just a skosh more. Keep adjusting that tension till it's where I like it. Thanks, Karen. Said it looks good. Linda, actually, it seems like it was oh, I already said that. One of the first on the market. I thought thought I was reading something new. My brain around. I sort of oiled my machine. I try to clean and oil my machine every bobbin change. And I can, you know how you can start to hear how your machine, if it sounds a little bit different. Um, so it's a workhorse. I'll keep going. Try to get those swirls even bigger. It's been so long since I've done a full-size quilt on my machine. Feels good to be back in the saddle. I've been doing a lot of smaller, like just kind of practice type pieces, and we're doing some videos and filming smaller items. So it's nice to do something uh, bigger right now. So I'm going to go around this whole square and then I'm going to come into the center with the ruler and do the straight lines. Scissors out of the way. Karen says, from a design standpoint, how do you decide when the free motion quilting over a quilt seam line is, or stay within a fabric perimeter? Sorry, Karen, let me read it again. How do you decide when to stitch over the seam or when to stay in a perimeter? Karen, I think it's all in what you're trying to achieve with your design. If you're doing custom quilting and you're trying to do something that is a little bit more of a motif and you want to keep it inside a border area, then you could make a perimeter around. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the YouTube, but let me see if I can get a little closer. Here were just like a few ideas. So I would like this square, the big center square that I'm working on. I know that I want to keep my design just in that square because that square kind of stands out from the rest of my quilt. So depending on what your quilt looks like, if you've got some spots on your quilt where there's something that stands out from it, it's different from the rest, then for something like that, I'd probably choose a motif and do a design within the perimeter of that square. Something that stands out from the rest of the design, if that makes sense. Dawn says your Be Amazed quilt pattern is on my list of patterns to try. I like your design. I can see the swirl pattern you are quilting. It looks very nice. Oh, good. Thanks. I didn't know if it was going to show up as good on camera. Love me some swirls, Dawn. Karen said that makes sense. Okay, let's get back to swirling. And then we'll get to that center part. I can get my got too many wires underneath my machine. Where did I? Okay. The thing I like about swirls is that you can echo, so you can have your base swirl size, but then you can echo around it as many times as you want. It looks like you made this gigantic swirl, but in actuality, it's a lot of echoing. I feel like the beginning of the quilt is always a little bit harder because you have all of the bulk of the quilt at the other end. At least me, my machine goes front to back, the throat space. So I feel like I've got a lot of space there in a lot of stuff on top of each other at the back of my machine. So I'm constantly readjusting so that it doesn't feel really heavy and it doesn't make me want to feel like I'm straining to, oh my gosh, it's so heavy and I gotta pull this whole quilt. So that's why I try to loosen it up a little and unfold it or unroll it so that it's not so heavy. You can see um, I'm not so much using my quilting foot as a guide and making smaller my swirls kind of tight. I'm just kind of eyeballing it as I come out of my swirl because I know I want it to be a wider design. Swirl. So they are not perfect, but it's Keep on echoing. It's really easy when you're doing swirls to get backed into a corner and to get awkward spaces. But that's why it's just important when you're doing your swirls. Just remember echoing. If you echo, you're never going to get stuck in a corner or in an odd spot. You're just going to echo and come right back out. Okay. Well, here. I think I'm also being kind of careful because I've got my laptop and stuff kind of set up, and I'm not wanting to um, touch the stand and things. So, so that's kind of making me a little bit timid on how I'm doing some of the stitching. The nice thing about that was a horrible one. The nice thing about swirls um, is you can mix up small little baby swirls in with the big ones. If you have an awkward space that you need to fill and it's maybe it's a little too big to do a whole bunch of echoing, but too small to put a large swirl, just put a baby one in there. Babies are fine. Would I have time to draw a swirl on the acrylic? Oh, I could do that. MKD. I, yes. Let me finish this row. I've only got a little bit more to go in this row, and then I will draw that out for you. Some echoing. But this is falling over into that void on the side of my table. Maybe we're meeting. This is going to take me a while to get this one done. If I have to keep, I got to think of something clever, something. If only MacGyver were here, if he could figure out a way for me to have some little small side table to fill this void next to my machine. Should have left myself a little, leave a little space. Get that in there so I don't have to break my thread. I get that when it falls over the edge and then I'm trying to force it back, my stitches are so small because I'm working on the resistance from the quilt being pulled over the edge. It's okay. Now I have done my whole square here. And now I'm going to grab a ruler and then I am going to demonstrate the swirls in the plastic. I don't need to take that out. How do you lose stuff that's like right in front of your face and then in 2 seconds? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to have to move this back at a little bit of a angle and I will show MK the swirl. So grab. So when we're doing a swirl, you're making circles inside of circles, and then you're just echoing yourself back out in between the lines. You're kind of making a circle maze, and then you're like, you get to the center of the maze, and it's like, oh, I got to get out. How do I get out? And that is basically all it is just a whole bunch of circles. Debbie said, or I'm sorry, Dawn said you did a baby bubbles on an ocean quilt. You free motion quilted. They were just scattered here and there. They were so cute. I'm sure baby swirls are adorable. Yes. And baby bubbles. So I'm going to draw a big one here in the center just to show you MK. But I usually start with a tail, basically, because you want to start making that curve because you're going to make it into a circle. So we're going to make our first outer circle. And instead of closing that circle right here, you want to start thinking at this point that you want to curve that circle so it starts to come in and doesn't touch the beginning line. So then we're going to make another circle inside of that. And then we stop. This is where I usually take a couple stitches in place to get a hard, sharp point. And then all I have to do is trace myself back out of that circle maze. So I just come in between those two lines. I try to stay as centered as I can between those two lines. It's never perfect, but that's you try, but it doesn't happen. It never happens. It looks like it does from afar, but if you were to like take some kind of calculations on the spacing between your swirls, you would find that they are not perfectly circular, but they look like it is, and it looks perfectly fine from a distance. One more, so I'll just do this one more time. So we make a circle. We're not going to touch. We start to think when you're about a quarter, I don't know, quarter, half inch away, you come towards the inside, you make another circle, you stop, and then you trace yourself back out, always leaving enough room to come back out of your swirl. If you did a swirl that was really close together, And then you came in here, and when you go to come back out, you're going to be traveling over your previous threads, and you're not going to have that open look that you're going for. This happens a lot. So don't think that you're totally screwing up, because when you start to do your next swirl, you're just going to course correct, and do that one the right way. So come in like a circle, a little half circle, and come out. And this is a design that you can do in a straight line. You can just practice making swirls in a straight line. And then I would also practice making them from the opposite direction. And then remembering when you come out of your swirl, you can echo as many times as you want to make them appear like they're larger than what they really are. I hope that helps, MK. Frida, hello. Is there a pattern for the quilt design so I can muscle memory practice? um, I don't have one for the swirls. The I do have different templates, different drawing templates in my courses. They have templates in those, but I don't have them just like individually laying around. But that is something that I might think about, is making some more templates, some more drawing templates that can be accessed outside of that. MKD says, that's what I needed. Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get that visual. You need like you need to break it down into little bite-sized pieces, and then it makes more sense when you're just looking at somebody who's doing a bunch of quilting on videos, and they're not providing any type of instruction. You think that it's harder than what it is, but actually it's not as hard as you think it is once you start and just break it down into pieces that your brain is going to remember how it works. you know so everything in free motion quilting is a combination of different designs. They all kind of come together. Like you can do a loop, and then there's like a bunch of different things you can do with a loop as a base. There's things that you could do with a swirl as a base. Once you learn how to do a swirl, you can turn that into a feather. You can make a feather on the outside of your swirl. So everything kind of comes together. And once you break it down and you have those core pieces, it's easy to just say, oh, well, what happens if I add this onto my swirl? Or what if I do this with my stippling? And everything kind of just flows together. So it's a big experiment game. So let me grab my ruler and my pen and see how I do with making that shape in the center here, those straight lines. 1 second. I know where my ruler, just had it. Oh, it's right here. Move this light again because it's such a hot light. Okay, let me see. Grab a drink of water. You guys have any other questions while I'm stopping here to refresh before I get going on the, oh, I forgot the marker. Just use this one. I've got this mark Be Gone. I don't know if you can see that. And this is what I'm going to use to draw on my quilt. It says right on it that it is water soluble. So be able to spray it, and then the marks will come out. I do find sometimes on these that I got to spray a lot. I don't always wash my quilts. Well, I rarely wash my quilts unless I'm going to be using it to like cover like functional quilt. Most of them I make and I throw in a closet or hang on the wall. I have a lot that I should just give away, but so if you're going to wash it in the washing machine, it'll come out pretty good. If you're just spraying it, you might have to spray it a couple of times because sometimes you spray the mark, it goes away, but then as it dries, portions of it might come back. So, got to overspray. Let's see. Uh, Karen asks, you can start with cursive lowercase L's and E's to practice the movement. Yep, that's what we did. Um, Linda, thanks so very much, Mary. You are helpful to show the details. You're welcome. um, like the relaxed, Irish says she likes the relaxed interactive demo. Thanks so much for your time. New free motion quilter. Yay! It's so fun. It's so addicting. Um, Mrs. Quilter, I've seen the other people that start quilting in the middle of the quilt. Do you find it works better starting in the corner? I've always started quilting in the corner. I think when I first learned how to quilt, I bought a book, said teach yourself how to quilt, and this was a long time ago, and it had you starting in the middle, but it also had you doing, you pin or you do the large basting stitches to hold your layers together. And so my thought is the reason they would tell you to start from the center and work out is so that you can like flatten your quilt as you go and always kind of pressing, flattening, so you don't have like a mound or something in the center of your quilt. That's the only reason I can think of why you would want to start in the middle. I think nowadays with like the spray basting, it holds your quilt so well that you could start anywhere. I just personally like to start at a corner. I think it would be plus if I were to start in the center, it would just like screw with my brain and I wouldn't know where to go. The only time I start in the center of a quilt, I would say if I'm doing a small quilt and I'm doing some doodle quilting, I always start in the center because I want to have a base and then doodle quilt around it. But for large quilts, I don't. I prefer, there's no right or wrong. If you like starting in the center, if that makes sense for you, then go ahead and do it. There's no reason why you can't. But I personally, and if you're, of course, if you're on a long arm, I don't know, maybe long armers do want to start in the middle for some reason and unroll and roll, and that would be kind of a hassle. So it's just better to start on an edge. Julianne, hoop frames usually start in the middle. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because you want to have your whole quilt encased in the frame. So yeah, okay. All right. Let's go to work on this. I think I'm just gonna just gonna take this out and make a few stitches in place and cut this thread. Switch the camera angle. 1 second as I readjust. Right there. Hi, Linda Trendy Threads, first time watcher. Thanks for being here. We're just doing a little bit of free motion quilting. I'm getting ready to demonstrate how I make a little straight line motif in a center square. Okay, where's my square in relation to the camera? Ugh, up here. Got to get that expo off my quilt. I don't trust it. Okay, here's my square. And I'm going to, let's go down a little bit. Sorry about this. I swear if I had that other camera holder. Okay. So I've got my, oh, this doesn't go. I have the wrong, my ruler is too short. Hold on. I got others. Oh, I had to have a specific ruler. I knew I had one that was large that will go from edge to edge. So I'm just going to draw my X as my guideline. Oops. Is this one dried out? That one should have been in the trash. I've got more. I've got lots of markers. This one is from Simplicity, but it's also a water soluble, but it has a fine tip and a medium. Just do the medium. First line, second line, and I'm going to go to town. I do not have a ruler foot on my machine. 1 second here. Let me just demonstrate. Ouch. Is my ruler foot? Let me just find my ruler foot so I can show you what the difference is. And of course, I've got other. Oh, I know where it is. It's in the next drawer. Ruler foot. The things you think of while I'm doing this, I keep thinking of more things as I'm going. But in my machine right now, I just have a regular open toe foot. When you are ruler quilting, you really want to use a ruler foot. And if you can see here, it has a, put it up against here, it has a high base as compared to, oops, compared to this one. It sits a lot, it's a lot wider, takes up more space. And the reason for that is when we're free motion quilting and you're using a regular foot, your ruler can hop up over that foot. There's nothing really keeping it from staying flat. So it'll go up above, go under your needle, and then when your needle comes down, it'll stick and the alarms will come off, and it's pretty scary because it happened to me a couple of times. So what I do sometimes if I'm just doing a couple of lines, I will just make sure I hold my ruler on this side because there's nowhere for the ruler to go. There's no way it can get underneath the needle. That's just my shortcut. The other reason I don't like to use this foot is because the way it sits on my machine, the opening, if you can see that, the opening on this foot goes towards the back, which is super crazy. I don't know why they built it like that. I keep looking at the pictures and I'm like, yeah, I have mine on the right way. It's exactly like the picture, right? Yeah, that's why I hope it is. I could be bad mouthing them for no good reason, and maybe I put this on the wrong way. But at any rate, when I put this on, I can't see over the foot. There's no opening here. So it really bothers me that I can't see where I'm ending up or where I'm starting. So I think I might take this to a machine shop and see if they could fill in the one side with metal and then cut me a little slit on this side. So that's my plan. I'm not putting in the ruler foot, I'm only doing one block here and there. I know there's some quilters who like to leave their ruler foot on all the time, but I think they have theirs are built differently so they can see an opening in the front and you can see where you're going. Unlike me. I want to use this one or this one. I kind of like this small ruler because it fits in my hands, but I'm going to go ahead and stitch out an X here. Scoop this up, rid of that pin. Push this a little bit. Is that too far up? Maybe that's a little too far up. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Okay, I'm going to needle down and up here at the bottom. Oh, did I not? Did I not break my thread? I don't think it, can't find it. Try again. Pull out the bobbin. Oh, would you look at that? The bobbin is empty. And I meant to wind some bobbins before I started, and I didn't. So give me 2 seconds. If you have any questions, I can answer a question while I'm sitting here and doing my bobbin real super quickly. I planned to do this beforehand, but then I start thinking of so many things that I want to do and I forget some of them. But I took my bobbins out, I plugged in my bobbin winder, and I was all ready to go. I don't know if you're familiar with bobbin winders, but on my long arm I have a standalone bobbin winder for my long arm. May Foster. Thanks for being here. Description of the video for the pattern link. Yes, it is there. You can get the free pattern in that link in the description, correct? What brand are your straight rulers? You know, Karen, I have some HQ. I kind of get, yeah, these are both handy quilter. Both of these ones are, but I have a lot of different designs. I got some curved rulers from Silly Moon Quilting, and I've got some like other round and arcs, and I've gotten them from everywhere. Okay, so this is going to wind this direction. Is it the wrong way? Why is everything so hard? And of course, the only bobbins that I have that have thread on them have black thread. Oops. And I do not want that. Okay, let's try this one time. It's driving me crazy. Just 1 second, you guys. I will get this together in 2 shakes. Just trying to get this bobbin on here. Once it gets going, it's fantastic. And it winds super quickly. Let's try this one more time. Which way is it going to go? That way. Why does that keep lifting up? 50th time is a charm, they say. Woohoo! Let's hold this down. Winding nice and tight. Perfect. Well, it doesn't feel as tight. It looks fine. Just blow out some of that lint using cotton thread, so there's always some lint left in there. Throw this in. Ooh, I definitely need some cleaning down here in the bobbin case. Okay. Yay. I hope this looks okay. I'm a little nervous because of the way this is all falling off the edge. I don't want it to screw up my lines. Just gonna come and keep it on this side that I was telling you because it can't hop up and go anywhere else. Let's swallowing out. Oh, you know what I realized now? I gotta, mm, stitch in the, I think, shoot, I'm gonna have to stitch in the ditch to get, I should have started at the outside and gone, I'm gonna take that out. I should have started at the outside and done one side instead of thinking, oh, make that X all the way across. So I'm just going to break my thread there. Stitches look good on the back. Well, whatever. I'll just make the X coming this way. Because I could have just stitched in the ditch and gone back over to that side. Again, being careful because I know that it's not the best not having my ruler foot, but the majority of the designs I'm using, I don't want that ruler foot in my way. Okay, so do I want, I'm going to stitch over about a 1/4 inch, which is from my ruler foot or from the needle to the edge of my quilting foot is a 1/4 inch. So I'm lining up the edge of my foot with that stitching line, and I'm going to hold my ruler even with that blue line and stitch. When I get about a 1/4 of an inch from the edge, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to make another straight line, lining up my ruler foot with the blue line, and down. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Henry, that's a nice straight edge ruler. What brand? Oh, you already asked. I already answered that question on my straight rulers. I don't know if I should do, I'm so indecisive. Do I want to do 1/4 inch lines all the way? Maybe just do like 3? Or do I want to do a longer, a wider, like 1/2 inch? You know what? Throwing caution to the wind, and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch lines. So I'm going to travel up in the ditch for until the edge of my ruler foot again meets that stitching line, and I'm going to put my ruler right up against the foot and go. It's a weird angle, and I don't think that was exactly a 1/4. It got weird towards the end, unfortunately. It's a little bit more than a 1/4. I am not the best ruler quilter, and I could use more practice, especially if I had my ruler foot in here. It would be a lot easier. How many lines I want to make, if that's fine. Maybe I'll do one more. Stitch in the ditch here. Do another baby. That side. Cool. And I'm just going to stitch in the ditch to this other side, all the way down here to that point. And now I can start to fill in that back half. Ooh, there's a long question. Let's see. Dawn says, I appreciate the real-time quilting as these happy interruptions like running out of bobbin thread, can't find a tool, or deciding the thread color to use make sewing slower than I had anticipated. It does. You know, we try to plan things out, but once you get to your machine, then you got a whole different idea of what you want to do. And the amount of time I spend looking for things, I try to keep my stuff in, you know, the same place all the time so it's easy to find, but still, you know, a little more. Sometimes when I'm looking for rulers, I have a basket that I keep all my rulers in, and I'm forever losing like my favorite ruler. Don't know how that keeps happening. Oops. That's a little, that was really crooked. Darn it. That's all right. We'll keep going. It's like up close, it's not as pretty as it could be. I think I like roller quilting on the long arm. I think it's a little easier on my long arm on the frame. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use that. I'm just going to eyeball my stitch in the ditch. There. And I am where I want to be. I think that's going to look kind of cool when it's all done. Yeah, it is real life. Oh, okay. Stitch in the ditch up here, 1/4 inch, and then go. I try to stay closer to that 1/4 inch so I have my seam, my stitching line as a guide. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. 4 crooked lines. I'm going to master this ruler quilting, at some point. I think it's just easier for me if I'm doing I don't know if it's easier for this. I kind of like the straight lines. Over one more side. Oh. Okay, that's like super. I'm just okay. That's super crappy. But I'm gonna. That line totally sucks. That was better. More. Too far. I didn't have my ruler pressed up against the foot tight enough, and then it made this horrible so-called line. That was not pretty. 1, 2, 3. 2 more. If I were making a reel, all this would be cut out. You'd only see the good parts and the finished part. And then if you speed it up, it doesn't look as bad. Because when you're going like 4 times speed, it's like, wow, look at how fast she can go with those accurate lines. It's amazing. Okay, that one is done. I have a mind to I might do all the blocks, all the outer blocks, and then do all these at the end. Go back and do the rest. Luckily, there are only 9 of these blocks that are going to need the ruler quilting. So, oh my gosh, it's almost 8 o'clock. Let me show you really quickly. I'm going to do 1 sashing strip. I'm going to turn my quilt here. I'm going to do 1 sashing strip to go down. Usually I do all the inner blocks first, and then I do the sashing second so that I can just go in a straight line the entire length of the quilt. But I think I just want to show you how I'm going to do. I want to start from the other side. I'm going to move this so that the bulk of my quilt is turned around and it's all on top of the table instead of trying to fall off the walls. Much better. Workout happens to us all. But could you see it from horseback going 40 miles per hour? MKD, were you in was it last year's Free Motion Quilting Summit? And you said that during one of when was it? I feel like there was somebody who said that same thing, and I was like, that does make sense about the horseback at 40 miles per hour. I wonder if that was you. It probably was, because I've always remembered that saying, which is kind of funny. Okay, I'm going to bring this up, needle up, take a couple stitches in place, and we're going to wishbone it. Remember I was saying you do like a zigzag, but at the top and the bottom of the zigzags, we're, oops, going to make a loop. Start with my line. And you can make your wishbones as far apart or as close together as you like. You can make a really wide zigzag line if you want to think about it that way. You can make the loops at the top and bottom of your zigzag big or small. Just try to keep them uniform when you're doing your wishbones. I try not to go too much into the seam line because sometimes you'll lose that nice curve on the top of your design that you work so hard to make a great curve, a great loop, and then it gets lost in the seam line. So just try to remember to look ahead and anticipate before you get to that seam line that you need to start to curve and make your loop. Notice that diagonal zigzag with the loop. Start them all the way down. If you guys have got any last minute questions, be sure to put them in the chat so I can answer them before we stop. You can still see that. I think I'm getting this bulk in the way of the camera. And I'm just eyeballing this on my distance. And then one last one, and come down. And what I like to do when I get to these little cornerstones is I just make an arc on each side. I just do like a half moon on each, just eyeballing it. One to the other arc from corner to corner. Bulk. That one's going to be a larger. And then I'm back where I started. If I want to continue to go down that straight line, what I would do is just stitch in the ditch. And then I would pick right back up and keep making my wishbones. I'm going to cut this, knock that off. I just take a couple stitches in place just to lock it. And then cut this bobbin thread. And there you have some lovely wishbones. And like I say, I'm doing those in all the sashing. I'm going to do it on the inside border. And I do not know what I'm going to do on my pieced outer border just yet. Got plenty of time to think about that before I get there. I've got a lot to do. So I'm swirling around the entire 18-inch block, and in the center we've got our fun straight line X design, which I am actually quite loving. So I'm excited for this to be done. So let me see here. Scoot back up in my chair. It's so hard to scoop this chair on the carpet. It's like a workout just to scoot the chair. But I love the chair because it's super comfortable. It's a so comfort chair. Let's see. Drop your questions in the chat and we'll see what we can answer before we cut off. I like to keep these at 2 hours, but I'm always up for quilty chat. And like you, I could talk about quilts forever. Oh, MKD, that was not you, but oh, popular rule. Okay. we even have a horse head. Um, Helen says, love this, Mary. Great tips. I will practice, practice, and practice more. Yeah, don't think that you have to spend like a half an hour at your machine practicing when you're first starting. You don't want to get overwhelmed. So just practice in little bits. You know what I mean? Do 10, 15 minutes. Uh, doesn't have to be every day, but every time you can, just practice a little bit. And I promise you'll get better before you know it. MKD says, Mary, this was delightful. Was not able to see the previous videos. Will you be doing another one of these? Not for this quilt, because I plan to finish this quilt. I showed you what I was going to do and gave you some ideas that you can use for your quilt if you're making the Be Amazed quilt, or just, you can use it on any quilt, those ideas. But so this is the last of this series, but I think what I'm going to do, because I design quilt patterns for Baby Lock several times a year and they're always free, and I think it would be fun to just maybe do quilt alongs with those projects. My next one, I think, is going to be a Dresden table topper. I've got it cut out. I'm going to work on it this weekend and get that over to them. But some of the projects that I do for Baby Lock are smaller with the this is the Baby Lock project, the Be Amazed quilt, but I have done like coasters and placemats. And I don't know, did I show you guys the house table runner? That was a fun one. Maybe we could do the house table runner. And it's all just straight piecing, no paper piecing. Let's see. Sharon, love this, Mary. So beautiful. Peggy, thanks so much. I intend to try these new ideas, new to free motion. Oh, cool. MKD, yes, yes. Was that to just doing more in general? Linda, the wishbones are pretty great for us newbies. Yes, you make us feel like we know where to start. What are you doing next week? Um, I don't know. We could get together next week. I don't know. We could do these like every Friday. I could do Friday lives, Friday night live instead of Saturday night live. Uh, I like, the chance to be able to get on here and talk with you guys. It's super fun. Oh, to the new projects. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Should try that, because one of my favorite, oh, I don't have that one on the wall anymore. I also had one. I've got a lot. I don't know if you can go to the Baby Lock website and they have projects. And I don't know if you can search for me by name or merry-go-round quilts or Mary Davis. I don't know, but I have a lot of projects that I've done for them. If there's something that you see there and you want to do like a quilt along with it, just let me know and we'll just work on it on some of the lives. Can't wait to finish my quilt. Okay, well, let me tell you some of the things that I'm going to be doing for my business. I was going to be attending and teaching at the Fiber Fabric Craft Festival in Rosemont, Illinois, the weekend before H&H, but my class was canceled because there was not enough people that signed up for them. I was scheduled to do 2 classes, and with the 2 of them, I only had 4 people signed up, and so they canceled my class. But I understand they're canceling a lot of classes. This is their first year doing it, and they had they had like 80 quilting classes. And the Fiber Fabric Craft Fair includes sewing, like garment sewing. It includes anything with fabric and fibers. It was yarn, knitting, just all kinds of needle arts. And so there was like gazillion classes, way too many for a brand new event. But anyway, I'm going to be at H&H. the following week, and I'm really excited about that. It's an industry show, and so you get to see all the new things that are coming out, and it's a chance to network and stuff like that. Um, I am going to be doing the Free Motion Quilting Summit again. That's going to be happening August 19th through the 21st. I'm in the process of getting speakers for that. It's going to be fun. I've got like new ideas for this year, and I can't wait. Working with a marketing company, and I think it's going to be the best one yet. Karen asked, what does H&H mean? You know, it's a German company, and I'm not sure what the H's stand for. It used to be that H&H was like a yarn show, like a big, huge yarn show, and they've expanded that into different, um, all kinds of different needle arts. Cosplay, I guess, is a really big thing. They have like a fashion show. They have the quilting stuff. They have, haberdashery, beads, buttons. Um, it's just like everything. And it's basically for shop owners to go and see what's coming out and to buy inventory for their shops. Me, as just like an individual who just has a small business, I too can go there and buy things to put in my shop. I have bought some things like the markers, the water soluble pens, and pounce pads and chalk and stuff. I just haven't gotten it up on my site yet. So, but it's really fun, and it's a great way to network and see a lot of a lot of people that you see on Instagram and stuff are there. So it's kind of like, ooh, look at, there's a celebrity, an Instagram celebrity. So also before the Free Motion Quilting Summit, I do plan to host a another workshop like I did last year with the pumpkin. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that. It was a beginner free motion quilting, and we filled in a pumpkin with different free motion quilting designs. It was a 5-day event, and it was free. And I'm going to do something again like that, probably end of May, beginning of June. I haven't decided. I think this one might be more borders. Deb asks, what's your clear pad called? I don't know. What do you mean by clear pad? I don't know. Were you talking about I'm not sure, Deb. Could you explain? I'm dense. I think that will be fun to do. I'm thinking it might be maybe make a tote bag with free motion quilting, and then at the end, on like the last day, I show you how to construct it into a tote bag. How do you get on your mailing list? Do I not have most of my descriptions will have my newsletter sign up at the end, but give me 1 second here and I could just go in and grab it super fast and put it in the chat, because I can get into my forms. Look, it's right there. Do share. I don't know why it says share as a anyone with the link can import your design as a template. No. Okay, I'm just going to click on it. Why is it doing that? Embed, no. Change, add. Why is it not letting me copy the link? Okay, give me 2 seconds because I know where else I put it. I got stuff saved everywhere on my YouTube. Definitely on this one, Facebook, Instagram, newsletter. Ta-da! Okay, let me just pop this in the chat. There you go. That is my newsletter sign up, and you'll be able to find out everything that's going on and coming up with me. So I think that is about it. If you guys don't have any other, oh, I'm sorry, Deb, what I was drawing on. Oh, these are, again, Amazon. They were just like report covers, I think they were called. And I ordered, it came in a box of several. I only wanted like a few, but they came in a box with many, like at least 20. Um, I can remember, I'll try to remember to add that link to the description of this for this chat. And then, because I don't want to have to, well, here, let me see. Hold on, 2 seconds. You know, I learned from all of these because it's like I should have a list of my popular links or things that you guys might ask about, like my website and stuff. I should have that on um, all available. Can I not do all? This might take too much time, but report covers. It goes by year, and I don't know what year I ordered these. It was, yeah. I will have to see if I can find that, Deb, and I'll just put it in the comments in the at the end of this video after I look for it when this is done. Sorry about that. But okay. Great inspiration for you. Thank you very much. It was inspiration for me. I love doing these. I am going to bid you adieu, and we'll be back here next week. Oh, do you guys have ideas for what you want to talk about next week? Do you have something that you want me to focus on, a particular topic, something that you might have questions about? Or do you want like a little lesson on, say, a design or something like that? Um, Let me know, and I'll take your comments under advisement, and I will come up with something, and we will just meet back here next week and have something fun to talk about for our next live. So see you guys. Thanks for being here. Have a good evening. Thanks for sticking with me. Bye.